streaming. Creating new stream. Here we go. All right, we should be live, brother. This is the first time we're live together where we can actually see each other in real time.
You got your camera.
Yeah. You see me?
I see you good.
Cool.
I see the bear and the bear. I see two bears.
A tale of two bears. Great.
Tail of two bears.
Hell yeah. All right, let me send out some links to the lads here. And let me finish coughing into my mic real quick. Hold on. All right, Jim. Sorry about that.
Oh, cool.
All right. Fucking trooper, brother. Hi there. Hiya there. What up, Lord Racer? Greetings. Welcome. We're about to kick off the show here. I'm going to send out some links to the lads, see if we can get a couple boys in here. A couple of them boys, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see what's up. Gonna Shane. Gonna all right. Here. So Jim, if you want to talk for a second, tell us what you did today, the observations that you made. I'm going to pull up the video for us to watch.
We got it. I got up at 4:30, made it to Michigan City Beach by 5, made it to the pier. I took my Nikon P1000. I didn't have a tripod. It was handheld this morning. And I got about 5:15, 5:10, I got a nice shot of Sears Tower, Wills Tower with the lights on, that were flashing on above it, which was really cool. And then I got it. The sun came up at 5:22 in Michigan City, 5:25 in Chicago, because it's 38 miles away from each other. And then I got the outline of Chicago pretty well, between 5:30 and 5:45. Got it on tape, on video, and I got a nice picture. I got nice photos of the sun coming toward me in the morning. So that was fun. And then I went to Warren Dunes State Park today, sat out for a little while, talked to some folks. And then I went up to St. Joseph, where I spent the majority of my time. That's where 62 miles away from Chicago. And beautiful weather, lots of people. And got a nice sunset, nice sun moving away. 4-minute video of that. And
cool. Sounds like you got a lot of footage out there in the field today, and it was a beautiful day.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. It's supposed to be nice all week long, and I'm going to do some 4:30 in the mornings because I want to get to St. Joseph at 4:30 in the morning if I can make my way to the beach. I think they put gates up, so I'm going to see if I can bypass a gate. I'm going to be there at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to look across when there's no atmospherics going on, and I'm going to see if I can see those lights on top of the Willis Tower from 62 miles away, and how much of the tower I can see going down. And but yeah, I gotta get that shot in the morning because there's too much atmospherics going on when the sun heats up the water.
Yeah, totally. A lot of refraction going on, a lot of photons going in different directions, but still probabilistically working out to form a horizon that that meets the globe requirements. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But I'm gonna say photons in the Earth's atmosphere is fine with me, even though they don't exist. But photons in the Earth's atmosphere is fine with me. It's when the photons travel billions of miles through billions of years. Excuse me, not even billions, sextillion miles through billions of years through empty space that bothers me.
Oh yeah. That's sometimes photons gotta travel, Photons gotta travel. All right.
Are you saying that photons like their recreational vehicles?
Mm-hmm. They get their license and they travel through space.
They like their RVs.
Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna do to kick off the show here is my buddy Shane made an excellent video showcasing yet again how perspective of the sky above us has been hijacked, reverse engineered, and put into a spherical coordinate system, which is first derived from a planar system. So I'm going to let Shane play us in, and then I'm going to give some supplementary explanations to what's going on and provide a refutation to the only critique I've got so far on How I Met Your Mother, on how math became reality, on how that. Anyway, the only critique I got on that was from my friend. I can science that who makes the case. He says, let's see. He says Michelson Gale versus Michelson Morley. Michelson Gale detected the rotation. They figured it was the rotation of the Earth, which they were looking for, and I think they matched it within a 98% expected, or 98% of what they expected for sidereal rotation, and then the Michelson-Morley experiment, they say, which was to detect the revolution, right? So the Earth traveling around the sun, right? So that was supposed to be at 30 kilometers a second. They got 8 kilometers per second instead. So they say that, like, oh, that's a no. The heliocentrists will reject that result and say, it was an instrumental error, et cetera, et cetera. They chalk it up to a null result. They'll even say now that modern Michelson-Morley tests are tending to zero. So by all accounts, they're straight up saying that they don't have any um, detection for the motion through the cosmos as we follow the sun, and they use that through they explain that through just basically nullifying Michelson-Morley and then getting into the concept of relativistic inertial frames and all that to explain away why they detected no motion. But they'll keep the Michelson-Gale experiment because it closely matches sidereal rotation. And the critique I got was saying that the Michelson-Gale experiment doesn't detect the vortexual motion of the ether, because the interference pattern would have correlated with a motion going a vector in all directions, because in a vortex you're constantly turning or whatever is kind of how I explained it, which makes sense, I guess. So we'll just go ahead and run with that. So let's just go with a smooth rotation, right? So in a geocentric model, where the universe and everything rotates around the stationary Earth, there's a yearly rotation of everything. So we got a yearly rotation of everything, and we have a sun with a 23-degree axial tilt that does a rotation, and that's in alignment. And so keep in mind, everything that you're about to see here from Shane's presentation is in alignment with the cosmic microwave background, which is a 23-degree axial tilt as well. So you're looking at the cosmos in the exact alignment with the axial tilt of the globular Earth, which matches the analemma of the sun and creates the equinoxes and seasons and all that, which was measured by Michelson-Morley and followed up by Dayton Miller for 30 years of Michelson-Morley observations, where he found fluctuations in the data um, during the equinoxes, where the fringe shift patterns would reach their minimum and maximum dimensions at their respective equinoxes. So, as the sun's moving further away, it's going faster. As it gets closer in the northern hemiplane, it goes slower. So, and this is all in accordance with a yearly rotation of the sky at a 23-degree tilt, right? So, which which one could argue is driving the sun. I don't know. So anyway, we'll let Shane do his thing here, and then we'll get back to the Michelson-Morley Michelson-Gale situation, and kind of explain the rotational disparity for the globular model.
Just want to say a couple quick words about the analemma, the solar analemma, which is an important aspect of understanding the celestial phenomenon. If you look at what this means, it's just a graph or a plot that shows the position of the sun in the sky at a single location at the same time of the day, each day, every day for a year. And if you do that, you get, this pattern that everyone's familiar with. And the cool thing is that if you look at Walter Bisland's wonderful model, and you look at the sun's path over the course of a year, it literally forms this pattern in the personal dome, or the azimuthal grid of observability, or the azimuthal grid of vision of each observer. It forms this pattern perfectly, and you can definitely see it. There it is right there. I think I even made another version of this that has the analemma drawn on. Let me see. Yeah, so there it is. So you can see exactly what it's talking about. This is the path that the sun takes over the course of a year for every observer on Earth.
So keep in mind, observer on Earth looking at the sky, stationary plane. This is what you're going to see due to the azimuthal grid of vision, which is just your personal grid of vision, your ability to see. So your atmospheric conditions and everything are all going to create and affect this dome, and it's going to be respective to you. And when you look up at the sky rotating over top of you, this is how you're going to interpret it.
Notice the shape: fat infinity bottom, much fatter than the top, meaning south much bigger than the north. It's also how we get like the equinox and the solstice and all them wonderful things. I drew it again.
Yeah, it's all where you're standing and what the sky is doing. So
and then there's this meme that sort of explains it all.
It's what the stars are doing, the sky's doing, the sun's doing, and where you are.
Yep. 1 sec, Jim. This video is almost finished. I know you can't see it. Sorry, it's almost done.
Oh, I got it right here.
Oh, cool. My man. Perfect. All right, just give me 1 sec because I got a couple follow-up things that I want to hit home.
Over the flat Earth, and how the sun elevation as it goes further out and raises in elevation as it comes closer in, goes faster and quicker in the middle and slower out towards the south. So this really lines up. And if you think about it, if you look at the observations of stellarium, of course, and you look at, this is, a weird viewing mode circled around the observer, but this is the sun's ecliptic. This is the path that it seems to wobble. If you look at it, this is from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer. This is what an observer over the equator would see. Makes a lot of sense when you think about it. And if we bring it back to where we started with here, let's see. This part, starts with the 23.4 degree tilt. Everyone knows what we're talking about, the tilt that they say the globe Earth has to maintain the seasons, right? It's actually, I think, as Walter Bisland modeled here, an actual inclination of the sun as it circles over flat Earth. It's not an actual flat. It doesn't lay plumb to the surface, right? It's at an angle, and that angle gives us the solstice and the equinox and the wonderful sun and the analemma. And that 23.4 degree tilt right here of this sun's path is what they extrapolated to the globe to make their globe lore backwards compatible with the observations of reality, right?
All right. Well said, Shane. So to continue on that, this axial rotation my man mentions here is matched by the cosmic microwave background. So in a geocentric model with a stationary planar Earth, the sky doing its thing over top of us, we get this translation of motion, right? We get this sidereal rotation, okay? So that's your Michelson-Gale detection. And then the Michelson-Morley would be the ether that is carrying that translation of motion. Now, this is in accordance with what Dayton Miller measured, hands down. This is a direct refutation to general relativity, special relativity, everything that they say about space and distances and all this shit. It's all way closer, and there's a medium to carry the translation of motion. hands down, and that's what they measured, and that's why there's a difference between the so-called vortexual, what you would see with a vortexual detection, and what you would see with a uh, regular rotation, and then what you would see with what Michelson-Morley picked up, matches the magnetic flux vortex. Okay, so you know how they say that there's an ISS that's going 18,000 kilometers a second or whatever, or 18,000 miles a second. That matches the ether drift that Michelson-Morley detected of 8 kilometers a second. So whatever they detected, magnetic flux, vortex or something, whatever they detected, these two things provide a mechanism for a translation of motion, and they provide the motion itself, so like the sidereal rotation, right? So these two detections are in alignment with ether theory, and they're not in alignment with the globe, because you guys, the heliocentrists, will deny the Michelson-Morley experiment and say that it was due to temperature error, that Dayton Miller was discredited by Shanklin, a guy hired specifically to discredit the work. Was anyone hired to reevaluate it? I don't know. I guess not. You guys, no one has discredited Maurice Elias's evaluation of Dayton Miller's work, other than the fact to say that we use different probability chances to do the calculations now, and that we've kind of X'd out what Maurice Elias calculated. So okay, under imposing different mathematical conditions, you've erased a direct refutation to your cosmological model. Okay, dude, let me just see if I'm gonna go ahead and believe that and take it on face value. Absolutely fucking not. Not in a million years. So, we've got a direct refutation to the globe with this understanding and alignment with the cosmic microwave background, aligning with our with how the sun moves in the ether fluctuation, the change in speed that the Michelson-Morley devices detected through Dayton Miller. So that's a fucking wrap for the globe, boys. It's been real. Let me know where to send flowers to the globe funeral and all that, because without rotation, without revolution, without all that shit, you're looking at a Walter Bislin stationary plane model here. And this explains everything, personal perspective, rotation of the sky over top of us, level plane, water seeking its level. There's nothing involved where it says, here, cool, man, I appreciate it. Oh, I recognize your name. Got a little sidetracked. So that's a wrap on that. I just wanted to open with that. There's the answer to why there's no fringe shift pattern detected in accordance with a vortexual motion, and why it's sidereal, and how it all lines up, and how it doesn't line up at all for the globe. So we're gonna move. Or Jim, if you have any thoughts you want to contribute on that. No, you're good, bro. I need to have self control and not read a thing and just immediately change subjects. So
I think the biggest thing is Michelson-Morley and Michelson-Gale is a package deal. And if you remove revolution, which Michelson-Morley did, you remove rotation. And so if Michelson-Gale said rotation, it's not rotation of the Earth, it's rotation of the sky. It was sidereal rotation of the sky. And so Michelson-Gale basically confirmed Michelson-Morley and confirmed that we don't live on a spinning ball, through the vacuum of outer space. So, I've said this before, is that this globe is held together by tons of money and indoctrination, and a few thousand people online that are fighting us, that I like to affectionately call Globerville, that they come on and we waste our time with them. And so, that's why we should all go out to the world and change one mind at a time.
yeah, no, totally, man. It's pretty profound when you have all the pieces of the puzzle in front of you. When it's all scattered and abstract and some scientists get a some new data that changes everything, but then they don't talk about it. But then it doesn't ruffle any feathers, so to speak, and everyone acts like it's normal. Uh,
If you understand that special and general relativity, and then when you start getting into quantum mechanics, you find out that everything is not even just a house of cards. There were no cards to begin with that you could build a house with. There's absolutely nothing, and everything they believe in is what Einstein said. So their whole thing is set behind somebody who more than likely stole E equal mc squared, stole relativity, stole photoelectric, and wanted to steal from his first cousin's second wife, her underage daughter too. So when you come to Einstein, everything is about their boy. Everything
man.
everything that they believe in is about their boy right here. And
Yeah.
if you remove their boy, they got nothing except propaganda and a bunch of indoctrination and a bunch of money.
Yep, absolutely. Let me give a little shout out to the folks in the chat here. We got Rebecca Broom in the chat who says she missed the second episode. So yeah, it's available to watch. It was a pretty good episode. Highly recommend. Some dude showed up at the end. I think it was, or towards the end, and we went over. Oh, it was that guy from the first show. But we ended up going over his book and found some pretty interesting stuff. We found how they reverse engineer the globular corrections that they apply to the ephemeris and what's the other thing, the nautical almanac and all that kind of stuff. So that was a cool thing that we kind of touched on that. So, but you didn't miss too much, man. Other than that, and we got Jeremy R in the chat, dude. Jeremy, known quite a few Jeremys in my life. I've only known like two, but anyway. So let's see, what do we got next on the agenda, Jim?
You want to go to time dilation?
You have a primer video on your channel explaining topics you cover and why you just. No, you know what? I should do that though, huh? Primer video. That's a good call, brother. Adding that to the list of shit to do. Yeah. All right. So, I'm sorry. Did you say something, Jim?
No, I like the one guy's name. I will not get the jab. That's pretty cute.
Yeah. Yeah. Good dude. All right. So,
No, I think someday, we'll sit down and we'll
excuse
come
me.
up with 10 or 12, 15 topics that we'll talk about, going forward. And and then maybe we'll let everybody know what we're going to talk about for the next, couple months.
Buddy.
So, and so they have an idea what we're going to talk about, going forward. But I think time dilation, what you suggested is really good because I think if you understand length contraction and their length and their Lorentz transform they came about with, and if you understand time dilation and mass increase, then you've just blown special relativity out the door. And then if you understand May 29th, 1919 and November 6th, 1919, then you just blown the bending warping of space time out the door. And then that's it, man. And then quantum mechanics is nothing but math, and it's all done too. And so you can just laugh at these clowns on that come on social media and tell you that we live on a spinning ball when
Little
we
clown
don't.
laughter, if you will.
I know.
All right.
I
Well
I
said.
tell you, it's getting relatively, excuse me, it's getting really easy to talk about this to people out in the real world. It's getting really simple, and it's getting really simple to take care of these people on social media who believe we live on a spinning space ball. It's getting pretty easy to do it, and it's been a fun journey.
Totally. All right, so let's get into a little time dilation paradox and stuff.
There
So
you go.
this is from your boy Lewis Essen, this is some thoughts that he had, or I'm sorry, no, this is Howard Hayden. Like a 10-15 minute video. Most people I know won't watch your long form video. No, yeah, absolutely, Jeremy. And I'm actually going to be working on doing some shorter form content like that, and splitting up the big presentation. Yeah, that's been these space audits shorts. Oh, you should, yeah, that's actually what I'm going to work on. All right, so we'll go to we'll read what my boy here has to say. This is Howard Hayden, who is a professor of I forget where exactly, but he used to teach relativity theory, and then this guy retired, and then he ended up thinking about it, in his later years and going, "What the hell did I just teach everyone?" After like reflecting on it, So these are some of his thoughts on the situation. So introduction. There can be no doubt that Einstein's special relativity theory has a profound effect on physics. It has successfully predicted a broad variety of effects that would surely have astounded Newton. A huge number of experiments cannot prove special relativity any more than a huge number of experiments prove Newton's mechanics. All rational scientists must agree all rational scientists must agree then that there is no basis for believing special relativity as if it were the last word in physics. Absolutely. With that as a working hypothesis, I herein present a few holes in the fabric, but only acknowledging the major experiments supporting special relativity. Support for special relativity. The speed of light is independent of its source. Okay, hold on. Just read the whole thing. Fuck it. You guys don't care. All right. So support for special relativity theory. The speed of light is independent of the source that it's being emitted from. Back in Einstein's time, German physicists signed a petition against Einstein having pseudoscience nonsense. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. They all know that you need a physical mechanism to do all of this stuff, for there to be an energy transfer, and they just completely were like, no, just trust us, the math. And they that's why they had to go so hard with the lie with Eddington and throw those observations by Charles St. John and John Evershade, because their direct refutations to relativity theory on the face of it, yet again, just like another absolute body bag to it. So here we go. The speed of light is independent of the speed of its source. The famous speed of light postulate in Einstein's seminal paper is that the speed of light is independent of the velocity of the source. This is well supported by binary stars, some form which should show themselves as triplets if the star speeds add to the speeds. Michelson's, or if light doesn't travel, I don't know, that could be another thing. Anyway, Michelson's brilliant but not so famous 1913 experiment with moving mirrors, and the most famous experiment, Alavager and others. I'll have to check out that one. I haven't heard of that. We measured the speed of light from pions moving at nearly the speed of light, and found that c expected from Einstein's postulates are rather nearly that of 2 times the speed of c, as wow. As would the case of the particle be in the velocity at what, brother? Yo, what up, JT? What's going on, brother? How are you? Yo, Jim, did you hear that, dog?
What's that? What's that?
Um, so there was an experiment here by your boy that we're about to look up called Alvadger and others, who measured the speed of light from pions, which we'll look into what that is here in a second, moving at nearly the speed of light, and found that c expected from Einstein's postulate. They expected these to move at c, but rather they moved at 2 times c.
I know. Isn't that something?
That's
And
that's really it's really unfortunate for the old speed of light. And what's interesting too is with that interview with Robert Sungenis that Witsit just had. He was talking about, because I didn't know this either, and this is fucking crazy. In that book that Einstein writes, to explain relativity, the general theory and the special theory to the layman, he completely says, "Hey, you know what's really cool is that the speed of light isn't it varies, and there's an ether. What a fucking what a hoodwink, bro." So we'll
yeah, I
definitely
think,
be bringing that up.
yeah,
We'll be digging those up, so we can get the actual source material quotes for them to provide to people, because that's a
yeah.
absolute body bag too. I mean, how in the fuck do you have everyone and their mom talking about speed of light's constant, speed of light this, can't speed of light, inertial frame, blah blah blah, and the man goes back in his book and says, "Hey, so those fundamental postulates upon which my theory is formulated, I've got a totally different opinion of that now, but everything's still kosher." How does that
Well,
fucking fly? How
well,
could that how
I
could that
think
possibly fly?
Einstein and Lorentz both disagreed on the speed of light, and I think Lorentz said it varied. Einstein said it was constant at 186,200 whatever miles per second. All
That
that
ain't bad.
crap.
That
So
ain't bad.
I think Einstein. What's fascinating about Einstein? Einstein was a propped up pervert, and so the world said he's our boy, whatever he supposedly says we're going to go with, and the whole world propped him up, and they propped him up 104 years later, since 1919. And so it's really strange how people have this love affair with Einstein when he's a total fraud, total liar, and it's just so obvious that he stole everything. They didn't come up with the idea of himself. He worked in a patent office, so he knew how patents worked, and it's just totally unbelievable how the world has fallen for special and general relativity. And Einstein even got involved a little bit, not too much with quantum mechanics, but he even got involved with photoelectric and things like that. Where electrons are kicked out of their little circular orbit around the nucleus, which is really stupid. And so it's just really fascinating how this world has come to love Einstein when Einstein was he's just nothing. He just propped up. Everybody says the Royal Society, November 6th, 1919, told the USA UK press Einstein's our boy with throwing Newton to the curve. Bending warping of space-time has been confirmed by 2 out of 32 slides. And here we go, guys. Here we go. Einstein wakes up November 7th, 1919. Savior to the ball, savior to relativity. And it's just unbelievable. Man, I tell you what. I tell you what. This world this world needs a revolution. And we're going to change one mind at a time in this revolution.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a wild ride, man. So anyway, let me try and look this guy's paper up real quick. I think that's crazy. Avenger. Do you have a year for that?
Yeah, Einstein was the earth mover.
Yep.
He was the person who made the earth move around the sun, even though it didn't. I highly suggest that everybody who might listen to this, watch that 30-minute Michelson-Morley video. It's just 30 minutes long. You can watch it multiple times because it's so short, but it's really hits Einstein between the eyes and really shows that Michelson, Morley, and Dayton Miller had their act together. It's only 30 minutes long. You can find it on YouTube.
Sorry, just making a note here to find this paper for the next episode, so we don't get too detracted into nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry. What video did you recommend?
Oh, that 30-minute Michelson Morley video.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, let me drop a link to that in the chat. I have a link
Yeah.
on hand. It's a great way to.
Yep.
It provides excellent visual representations of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because without the visuals, you just hear these terms like perpendicular. You're like, what? Who's a perpendicular line? What does that mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
it's you know, it's a 30-minute video. It's very short, so if you want to watch it again, it's 30 minutes. So you know you could watch it 4 times in 2 hours. And seriously, if you take it seriously, your life will change because you'll see that coordinate systems were used.
No, not analogous. I can science that. What's up, bro?
You know, what's fascinating, what's fascinating during the 30-minute video is they tell you that the Lorentz transform basically gave you a coordinate system that said it was all math, the Earth around the sun, when it wasn't that way.
Yep. Indubitably. We're going to move on to time dilation now.
Yes.
Time dilation. Slowing of moving clocks. The most famous time dilation experiment are those involving moving muons, which have a half-life of 2.2 whatever that is, US. Formed in the upper atmosphere, they travel at nearly the speed of light, but would decay decay at an intensity of 1/2 to a mere 660 meter if it were not for the increase of the half-life due to their high speeds. Half-lives of the high energy of the muons and accelerators in one experiment have been measured at about 39 times. Yeah. Let's see. And what does it produce like in science? That does it give an 8 kilometer or is it a 0 kilometer? Which one? Yeah, they say that it tends to 0 around Boston. I think it was, I want to say the Silvertooth guy. I think that was the one, maybe. That was the military one, or the Air Force did it or something.
Well, I think
Michelson
Morley was repeated by the Air Force in 1987. If I remember right, it was almost 100 years to the date of the original Michelson Morley, but they came up with the pretty much the exact same results. Everything with the sidereal rotation of the sky has shown 3, 5, 6, or 8 kilometers per second instead of the 30 kilometers per second or 6,600 miles per hour around an elliptical orbit around the sun. So Michelson-Morley, showed 8, but all the experiments done since Michelson-Morley have shown 3, 5, 6, or 8, which is the sidereal rotation of the sky translating motion down to the Earth. That's all it is. We have there's a long list. There's a long list on that 30-minute Michelson-Morley video of all the major scientists who have done the experiments that basically backed up what Michelson-Morley did beyond Dayton Miller.
It's 8 kilometers a second, and I've even seen in papers where they try and say, where they try to apply different transformation equations to it to see if they can extrapolate some other type of motion from it. In the one paper that I saw referencing that, they apply, you know, transformations and corrections to it, and the number that they got was like 230 kilometers a second, and they said that that closely matches the rotation of the sun around the galaxy. So they tried to like co-opt it in that way. So like
Yep.
even so like you saying that he says it was zero doesn't, like, there's a whole different thing going on here, bro. Did you include the list of folks that say it's zero? No, I didn't, bro. Like, I included the guy that did 30 years of observations that said that it didn't work out that way. That's the guy I included. And, you know, if you don't like that guy, I mean, you don't have to be here, bro, and watch this. Like, this might not be for you. You know what I'm saying? So, identical experiences with identical clocks produce different results. Consider an infinite array of equally spaced clocks C subprime along the axis X with a coordinate system of O, and the two clocks A, B on the axis of X prime and O prime. All clocks are of identical construction. So what's up? You say something, Jim?
Oh, I hadn't said anything, but I was reading the comments. Yeah, nobody, Michelson Morley in no way said it was zero. Michelson Morley, if anything, said it was 1/6 of what they expected, which is 30 kilometers per second or 5 kilometers per second.
I
And
mean,
then we
dog. Well, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
yeah,
My bad.
and so you go from 5 and you go 8, but nobody has said zero. The only people that are saying zero are the people that are throwing out the ether and replacing it with empty space, and they're calling it zero. And they're the globers. They're the globerists, or whatever you want to call it. They're saying that. We're not saying that whatsoever. We're saying 3, 5, 6, or 8, and every experiment ever done with the interferometer has shown 3, 5, 6, or 8. So nobody is saying zero on our side, and Michelson Morley never said zero.
Yeah. So when you say, did you include the list of folks that didn't say it's zero? What I meant by that, like, it's just kind of like, no, like, obviously not, man. Like, we know what your guys' side says. We're presenting the other narrative that, I don't know, could have been covered up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that your opinion isn't valued in that regard. It's just like, it seems like when you hear something you don't like you just default back to, you know, the same kind of shit. Um, and you know, for example, did you know that Einstein later went and published in a book and said that he changed that the speed of light varies and that there's an ether, and that maybe he just got the like how it works wrong, like in his published book. Like he says that the speed of light can change under relativistic effects. He completely changed the paradigm. So when you're like, did you include what these other people think? Like, no, I'm not interested in what they think, really. I'm looking at what this dude said, and I'm trying to formulate like how that works in that regard. So like, I don't want you to leave, and like, it's not, you know, I may have been like super dismissive on your part or on what you said, but it's just like, you know, it's like, did you include it? It's not what we're doing here. Like we know what your guys' side says, and you don't even get the fucking uh the detection right. Like, you guys are fixated on zero because you're stuck in this paradigm, this Einsteinian paradigm where things have to align directly, and and if it varies from that, you know, you guys ain't trying to hear that, and you're like, you know, did you include what this other guy said about how what you're saying isn't true? Like, nah, man, I didn't. But you're welcome to stay here, bro. Obviously.
I didn't even say this.
And I really
I didn't even say
appreciated
this.
your question about what you said on my presentation about the word textual thing. Great. Like, you're a fucking true homie, dog. Nobody else hit me up with anything like that. So it's not that I don't value your opinion or want you to leave, bro. I hope you're still here. I hope you didn't leave yet and you heard that. If not, I'll link it to you later on Discord.
You're roboting.
Oh, am I? Shit, am I lagging a little bit?
And I'll even say this: if the ICANN science guy ever wants to come on and talk to us in person, I would say sure. If he wants to come on and have a conversation
Yeah, do you want
outside
to
of,
hop on?
yeah, yeah, whether he wants to do it tonight or do it the next time, he's welcome to come on board and talk to us. That's great.
Yeah.
I welcome anybody who's on the globe side to come in and talk to us. Anybody.
The glob side. Glob side.
Because I tell people on Discord who know you, it's like, don't ever go up against Alan one-on-one. You're gonna lose every time.
I don't talk like that, Jim. You hype me up too much.
It's true. If you tear apart general and relativity like you have, party's over. I don't care about angles to the sun. I don't care about refraction. You tear apart general and special relativity, party's over, guys. Body bag it, move on to dinner. Oh my goodness. I love it. Our good friend from Australia said that it wasn't relevant to him. It was irrelevant about relativity. And he just wanted to talk about refraction. It's just like, okay, where do you take somebody who says talking about relativity is irrelevant? Oh my goodness.
Totally. So I sent I can science that a message to come on if he wanted to and apologize because I was a dick kind of there, but it was like the response to it is always the same kind of stuff. So, and I'm kind of buzzed right now, so I didn't have the you know what I mean. I didn't have the energy to be like to go to do the rigmarole. So I had to apologize, man. I can science that is my boy, dog. So did not mean to disrespect my homie.
Hey, anybody ever wants to come on, bring them on, man.
Yeah, so we'll get into the rest of this time dilation situation. The following results are directly derivable from special relativity and are in part of the literature dating back to Einstein's original paper. Looking for Michelson's exact words. Give me some time to find them.
I know in schooling Globers 3, Austin had that one gentleman on who did a video about Michelson Morley, and the gentleman said that it was zero. And Austin, when he came back on after that guy said it was zero, Austin said nobody said it's zero. I remember him saying that in schooling Globers 3.
Well, there was. Well, first of all, like all these papers that I keep reading, like always refer to it back at the 8 kilometers too. So, like, even if Michelson Morley did say that, these other people have extrapolated this as something that was detected and then further reproduced by the Dayton Miller stuff, which was analyzed by Maurice Elias, which directly corresponds to friendships that reach their maximum and minimum dimensions in alignment with the equinoxes. So there was definitely like some correlation and stuff there, which is really interesting. And then now it's like we just chalk all that up and say that it was actually going to zero and that it was nothing and all that. And so it's just really hard to determine what's going on and what's true. And when you go through the history of relativity, like I know that's not true. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to go back and figure out what exactly is going on here.
Well, what the globe establishment is doing is they're throwing out that all they're doing is throwing it out altogether. They're throwing out the 3, 5, 6, or 8, and they're calling it insignificant. They're throwing it out so they can save Einstein's relativity because Einstein threw out the ether to save relativity, and so that's all they're doing. They're saying zero, so they don't have to put up with it.
So hold on a sec. Yeah,
all they're
I'm
doing.
sorry. Why
Go
does
ahead.
the equinox have anything to do with it? Okay, I'll show you why. So take a look at this. I can science that. You want to hop on, bro? I feel weird talking to you in the chat when I know you, like, on a really personal level. Maybe in a few minutes. Word. Damn, check out your boy Heaven's Protocol. FCC ham radio general test has a question saying that the azimuthal map projection shows actual bearing and distance. I knew the earth was flat before I took the test. Damn, homie learned on the spot. But yeah, so anyway, just if you're not sure if you're gonna hop on or whatever, I'll just give you the TLDR and then we can go from there. How does one hop on? Oh, I meant like, come on the stream, the StreamYard lab or whatever. So anyway, here we go for the translation or
If
for
you bring
the
it back
for
to where
whatever
we
he
started
detected,
with
right?
here. Let's see. This part, yeah.
So the sun has to maintain 15 degrees per hour, right, on a globular model and on a flat Earth disk where it's rotating above us. Either way, we're stuck in a 15 degree per hour, right? So when the sun moves further away from us in the southern hemisphere or the southern hemiplane, which is much larger in the planar disk that you guys extrapolated the globe model from, so which produces the analemma. So anyway, what Dayton Miller was measuring on those equinoxes, the speed there, he's measuring the translation of motion basically of the sun that's maintaining the speed. So when it's going in the southern hemisphere, it has to move faster to maintain that 15 degrees, and when it gets in closer, it slows down. And that translation of motion is what was being measured because it's in direct accordance on the days of the equinoxes, and then it starts going down, and then it starts going back up on the other one, and that was analyzed by Maurice Elias, who did his whatever calculations to it and found that it was all solid and not due to instrumental error, and it definitely had a relationship with the equinoxes specifically. So, and to further state, so you know how there's this thing called the cosmic microwave background? Well, this axial tilt
Starts
and
with the
analemma situation produces, a 23-degree axial tilt, which is in alignment with the 23-degree axial tilt of the universe. So the background, the entire universe is in alignment with the motion and rotation of the sun. So on a geocentric model, you have a yearly rotation of the sky, like the galaxies and all that kind of shit that's in the universe. So all that's translating all the motion down, and that's and that has to do with how the sun is increasing its speed and decreasing in its speed as it gets closer and further away from us over the plane. And that's what Michelson Morley measured, and that's what Dayton Miller followed up on and did 30 years of observations of measurements on, and that's why Shanklin had to be hired to discredit him, because this is a direct refutation to relativity theory. The fact that the cosmic microwave background aligns with all of that and is in accordance with that, like they literally just reverse engineered the perspective, and then said that like this is the where's the thing where it shows the analemma in the grid. Which one of the following describes the azimuthal distance? So the map on this particular grid isn't particularly relevant. Any map will do. But I think he's using either a Gleason's or an AE. I can't remember off the top of my head. If that's what you're asking about. So let's see where. Let it play out again. Fuck it.
This is the sun's ecliptic. This is the path that it seems to wobble. If you look at it, this is from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer. This is what an observer over the equator would see. Makes a lot of sense when you think about it. And if we bring it back to where we started with here.
So if he had measured, if Michelson Morley had measured 30 kilometers a second or something close to that, and then Michelson Gale had also measured the daily sidereal rotation, like that would have been a great win for you guys. But it didn't. It measured the translation of motion from the background galaxy, whatever shit, to the Earth, which to the sun and all that. And that's what they measured for that. So an ether would carry that translation of motion per se. So you're looking at the motion of the ether in that regard. And then for the Michelson Gale daily rotation, you're just looking at the daily rotation of the sky, which in you guys it gave an accuracy within 98%. So there's definitely there's definitely a rotational value detected there that would be in accordance with either a globular model or a planar disk. But sadly, the Michelson-Morley experiment did not go in your guys' favor, and you guys outright reject it. And to have your daily globular rotation, you're also going to need your revolution around the sun, which was not provided in the Michelson-Morley experiment. And that's why I've come to the conclusion that the translation of motion that was measured was the background stars, galaxies, all that shit. That motion was being that's what powers the sun. That's what causes that. That's why the tilt is in alignment. It's all part of the same system. There's no expanding universe in between. There's no mechanism to provide for gravitational redshift to do anything like that. For redshift to occur, for the Doppler effect to occur, as described by you guys, you would need a mechanism to facilitate the energy transfer, right? Saying bending of space-time isn't going to cut it because of what was produced from the Arthur Eddington observations, where he only observed so-called displacement around the solar limb of the sun. That's not far enough to distinguish between gravitational field effects and the effects of the solar, or the presupposed medium of the solar limb, where you guys already say that there's gas, electric fields, and what's the other one? Magnetic fields, and just extreme heat and all that kind of stuff within that medium. So you guys, let's see, I could pop on. Want to send a link? Yep.
Yeah, if there's zero rotation of the Earth around the sun, then heliocentrism is dead. And then you put a stake in gravity, then that's dead. And so Einstein wanted to confirm the perihelion precession of Mercury, and obviously that was all reverse engineered from Verrier, Verrier, in 1846. So Einstein reverse engineered that, and then we have gravity, and then you destroy gravity, you destroy revolution of the Earth around the sun. Party's over, guys. You guys can talk about your vacuum chambers all you want to. You can talk about, do you feel spin when you're in your car, as if you would feel spin on the Earth. You can talk about all you want to, guys, but your gravity is dead. Your revolution around the sun is dead. You guys are cooked, and you're just wasting our time. But you're just wasting our time right now. And there's going to be a few of us who are going to really understand quantum mechanics and why it's bunk. So pretty soon we're going to have a bunch of people running around that are going to understand that special and general relativity is a bunch of baloney,
Hey,
and that quantum mechanics is. How you
doing?
doing?
Give me 1 sec. Let me crop you in here so we can get a nice three-way situation going on here.
But who plays the piano in the house?
Oh, I think that's a virtual background.
Oh, it's not an actual piano.
I don't think so. It might be. He's a very gifted man.
Beethoven.
Wait a second. I gotta turn off that at least. I gotta say, I cannot find it now.
That's okay. I'll assume it's true. You don't even have to provide it, bro. I'll take your word for it because it's not super detrimental to the
Michelson
argument.
repeated the experiment, right? He repeated it himself. Do you guys have that? Is that in your list of things of repetition?
Nope, just the first one.
Yeah, he did. And I was just reading the paper just the other day, and in it he says,
Hang on, why is it echoing? Hold on one second.
Directly refutes what you guys are saying. He specifically says,
Hold on.
that it's got to be it's zero. Well, it doesn't specifically say zero. It says below the level of anything we can detect.
Give me 1 second. Can you hear me? It's echoing. Give me one
Yeah,
second.
I hear you.
Well, Jaffe said something very similar to that. What they found out.
Bookmark it or anything. I thought it would be easy to find again.
Doesn't. Well, now you're not echoing, so now it's good. I think you might have had a tab open.
Am I? Yeah, I had a tab open. I closed it. Am I okay?
Nope, now it's doing it again when you looked into the mic.
Let's see.
It seems to be just you. Jim's fine.
Okay, let me close this. Boop. How about now? Is it any better?
Nope.
Okay. How about that?
Yeah, nope.
I'm still echoing?
Yeah, I don't know how. Hang on, how would it be? How could it possibly be echoing on my end and not Jim's? Hang on. Jim. Do you... I have no idea. I have no idea. Let me send you a Discord link real quick. Let's just let's just do a quick reroute, and then you can just leave the server later or whatever.